everyone. Welcome to biology class. In this class, we are going to see 9th standard biology chapter 22 World of Microbes. Let's see the learning objectives of this chapter. After the completion of the chapter, we will be knowing about different groups of microorganisms, its role, and also about its shape, structure of bacteria, viruses, and the role of microorganisms in agriculture, food industry, and medicine, and also about the harmful activities of microorganisms like disease transmission, etc. And also we will come to know about how to control those diseases and the preventive measures of the diseases. Introduction. So microbiology, it is a Greek word. So in Greek, micros meaning small and bios meaning life bearing and logi meaning study. So microbiology is a branch of biology. So it is going to deal with the living organism of microscopic size, very small size, and this include bacteria, fungi, algae, protozoa and viruses. And the microorganisms are found in various habitats like terrestrial land, aquatic water, and even it is found in atmosphere or in other living host. Some microorganisms are also found in extreme environments where a normal living organism could not exist. Even in such a kind of environment also certain microorganisms can survive. For example, they can survive in hot springs, ice sheets, water which is having a high salt content, low oxygen, and the places that are having only limited water availability. Some microorganisms are extremely useful to us, okay, because they are used in the preparation of curd, bread, cheese, alcohol. They are used in making of vaccines, etc. Whereas several microorganisms are extremely harmful. So how they are harmful? Because they are going to cause any diseases. They can cause diseases even in plants, animals and human beings. So in this lesson, we will be learning about both the beneficial and harmful activities of the microorganisms, especially to the human. The microbes and their types. The microorganisms, they are differing from each other in the size. So they are going to differ in size, they are going to differ in their morphology or external features, they are going to differ in their habitat, that is the place they are living, and they differ in their metabolic activities and other features. So microbes may be unicellular, that is they are composed of single cell, example bacteria. Certain microorganisms may be multicellular, for example fungi, and acellular, they are not composed of cells, virus. And types of the microorganisms include bacteria, viruses, fungi, algae and protista. So these are the several types of microorganisms: bacteria, fungi, protozoa, algae. First, let's discuss in detail about bacteria. So bacteria are microscopic organisms. They are single cell and they are prokaryotic organisms. They are not having any nucleus and other cell organelles. Although majority of the bacterial species exist as single cell form, some appears to be filaments of loosely joined cells. Okay, mostly they are unicellular, but they can exist in the form of filament or loosely joined cells. And the size of the bacteria, it varies from less than 1 to 10 micrometer. It is not millimeter, so this refers to micrometer in length and 0.2 to 1 micrometer in width. Okay, so they are very small. They may be motile or non-motile. Motile means they can move. Okay, with the help of flagella they can move, or they can be non-motile, they cannot move. So they may be motile or non-motile. So the structures, there are special structures. So here you could see there are special structures. These structures are referred to as flagella. So these flagella are helpful for the motility. Motility means movement. Let's discuss the shapes of bacteria. So based on the shape, the bacteria are grouped as different categories. So basically three different categories. The spherical shaped bacteria are referred to as cocci. So plural cocci, singular coccus. The rod shaped bacteria are referred to as bacilli. So singular bacillus. And the spiral shaped bacteria are referred to as spirilla and singular spirillum. So here one do you know is given, Antony van Leeuwenhoek. He was the first microbiologist and he designed his own microscope. In 1674 he took plaque, that is in the teeth we have the deposits, the food deposits and all in between the teeth. So that is referred to as plaque. So he took his own plaque and he observed under the microscope and he was very astonished to see many tiny microorganisms he was able to notice, and those organisms cannot be seen through the naked eyes. They are invisible, but through the microscope he is able to see the tiny microorganisms. Let's discuss the structure of a bacterial cell. The bacterial cell has cell membrane, and the cell membrane is covered by a strong rigid cell wall. Rigid means it is tough or strong. So it has a cell membrane, and the cell membrane in turn is covered by a cell wall. So in some bacteria, okay, apart from the cell membrane and cell wall, they have an additional slimy protective layer, and that layer is referred to as capsule. So they have cell membrane, they have a cell wall. In addition to the cell wall and cell membrane, certain bacteria will have capsule, okay, in addition to this cell membrane and cell wall. And this capsule is made up of polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are nothing but carbohydrates. The plasma membrane, okay, the plasma membrane is nothing but the other name for cell membrane. It encloses the cytoplasm, so inner content of the cell, and also it consists of an incipient nucleus. This incipient nucleus is referred to as nucleoid, okay, because this bacteria is a prokaryotic organism. They are not having a well developed or well defined nucleus. Such a nucleus is referred to as incipient nucleus. So in bacteria, they are not having a true nucleus. They are having a structure called nucleoid. So this is the chromosomes, no? So this is referred to as nucleoid. They are not having nucleus. And they have ribosomes, and DNA is going to serve as the genetic material. And the ribosomes are the site of protein synthesis. And the bacteria, they lack the membrane bound organelles. Like in other plant or animal cells, you'll be having different organelles, no? Like mitochondria. In case of plant, it has chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, like that. They are not having any other membrane bound organelles. And in addition to this, a small extra chromosomal circular DNA, that is apart from this chromosomal DNA, it has got some extra circular DNA, and that DNA is referred to as plasmid DNA. So you could observe the bacterial cell. So here you could see they have an extra circular DNA. So this is referred to as plasmid. Okay, so they have chromosome, they have plasmid, and here you could see one structure which is referred to as endospore. So endospore is nothing but resistant spore which is formed in certain bacteria. It is not found in all bacteria. In certain bacteria, they will be having endospore. So this is the structure of a bacterial cell. Next, about viruses. So the term virus in Latin, it means venom or poisonous fluid. So the viruses are very harmful. They are, in Latin it refers to venom or poisonous fluid. They are non-cellular. They are not having a cellular structure. They are non-cellular, and they are self-replicating parasites. It can replicate double on its own, and they are made up of a protein. Okay, so the structure of the virus is very simple. It consists of a protein. That protein will be enclosing the nucleic acid molecule. So the nucleic acid can be either RNA, ribonucleic acid, or DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. The amount of protein, it varies from 60 to 95%. Okay, so maybe if the protein is 60%, the rest of 40% will be nucleic acid, like that. So 60 to 95% it is composed of protein, and the rest is nucleic acid. And the nucleic acid, as I already told you, it can be either DNA or RNA. So it is either DNA, example T4 bacteriophage. This is the name of virus. So in T4 bacteriophage, the nucleic acid is DNA. Or in case of tobacco mosaic virus, in short it is referred to as TMV. The nucleic acid is RNA. So the virus will be having either DNA as its genetic material or RNA as its genetic material, but never both. A simple virus particle is often called a virion. So simple virus particle is often called as a virion. And the virion grow and multiply only in living cells. So the virion is going to multiply only in case of living cells. Outside the living cell, the virus cannot multiply or replicate. And the virus are the smallest among the infective agents. So there are varied infective agents like bacteria, fungi, protozoa. So of which the virus is the smallest, and it varying over a wide range from 18 to 400 nanometer. So in bacteria and all, for measurement we have seen micrometer. So these viruses are even more smaller than the bacteria. So it is measured in nanometer. And the viruses can live in plants, animals, human beings, and even the virus can live inside another bacteria. Okay, so the bacteria is also a microorganism. The viruses can live inside a bacteria, even it can live inside a fungi, and like that. And they can be easily transmitted. The virus can be easily transmitted from one host to another host. Next, let's discuss the characters of viruses. The viruses exhibit both living and non-living character. Let's see the living characters of viruses. So the viruses have nucleic acid. Okay, as I already told you, they have the nucleic acid. They have either DNA or RNA, and this genetic material can replicate. And the viruses will multiply inside the living host. Okay, so they can multiply only inside another living host. And they can attack specific hosts. That is, certain viruses can be attacking only plant. So those plant affecting viruses will not affect animals. Like that, they are host specific. So they will be dependent upon certain host. So this is referred to as host specificity. Let's see the non-living characters of viruses. So when outside the host cell, that is outside any other living organism, the viruses will remain as a inert material. Okay, so they are not functional when it is outside of the host. So it can remain functional, or it can replicate only inside another living host. So outside the host, they do not have any strength, that is, they are inactive. And the viruses are devoid of cell membrane and cell wall. So bacteria had cell wall, cell membrane and all, no, but viruses devoid. Devoid means lack. They do not have cell membrane and cell wall. And also they do not have any other cellular organelle like ribosomes, mitochondria. So the structure of the virus is very simple. They are having a protein, and into the protein they have a nucleic acid. And the viruses, another non-living feature of virus is they are having the ability of crystallization. Okay, so the viruses can be crystallized. So we can obtain a crystal form of virus. So this is a non-living character of virus. Next, let's see the types of viruses. So the viruses are categorized based upon the host. So which is going to the virus, which host they are going to survive or depend. So based on that, the viruses are classified into plant virus, the viruses which are going to infect only the plant. For example, tobacco mosaic virus, cauliflower mosaic virus, potato virus. So the virus that are affecting plants. Next, animal virus, the virus that infect animals. Example, adenovirus, retrovirus, influenza virus, poliovirus. So these are the viruses that infect animals. Next, bacteriophages, the viruses that infect bacteria. Okay, only they are going to infect bacteria. They are referred to as bacteriophages. Example, T4 bacteriophage. So these are the various types of viruses. The next microorganism we are going to see is fungi. So the fungi lack the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is nothing but a green pigment. So they are lacking this chlorophyll. So they cannot prepare its own food. So they are going to depend on living or another dead host for its nutrition. And the fungi living on living host, another living organism, if it is going to live, they are referred to as parasite. If it is going to live on dead organic matter, it is referred to as saprophyte. And the body of the fungus is called as the thallus. Okay, a simple plant body is referred to as thallus. And single-celled yeast, okay, single-celled yeast will range from 1 to 5 micrometer in width, and they are spherical. Okay, yeast is spherical in shape, and they do not have any flagella, and they are non-motile. And even multicellular forms of fungi are found. And in case of multicellular organism, the thallus is called mycelium, that is, which is composed of several filaments. Such filaments are referred to as hyphae. Singular, it is referred to as hypha. Many hypha join together to form a mycelium. And each hypha is 5 to 10 micrometer wide, and they are tube-like structures filled with protoplasm and other cellular organelles. And cell cell wall is made up of cellulose or chitin. The cytoplasm will contain small vacuoles, and also it is filled with cell sap. And this fungi, they have the organelles like mitochondria, nucleus, Golgi body, ribosomes, and endoplasmic reticulum. So they have the organelles. And food material. Food material, it is stored in the form of glycogen or oil globules. And the fungi, they reproduce by means of vegetative reproduction, that is by means of binary fission, budding or fragmentation. They can reproduce, or they can reproduce by means of asexual reproduction, for example spore. So through the spore called conidia they can reproduce, or the virus even it can reproduce by means of uh, sexual reproduction, that is male and female gametangium. That is male gametangium is referred to as antheridium and the female is referred to as oogonium. So they can even reproduce sexually. So they can reproduce by vegetative mode of reproduction or by asexual reproduction or by sexual reproduction. The fungi can reproduce. So we have seen the different kind of microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, and also about fungi. The next last kind we are going to discuss about prion. So prions, this term is coined by Stanley B. Prusiner in 1982. So prions are nothing but the viral particles. So they are not a specific like a kind of microorganism. They are the viral particle. So the virus, as I already told you, it will be having a protein, and the inner to the protein coat they will be having nucleic acid. But the prions are the viral particles which contain only the protein. Okay, only if it contains proteins, it is referred to as prion. And they do not contain any nucleic acid. So the prion, they are not going to have nucleic acid. They are also infectious. This protein particle itself infectious, and this is smaller than the viruses. And the prions are found in neurons and are rod shaped. And prions induce changes in normal protein. So when it occurs in neuron, it will change its normal protein. And so here you could see this is the normal protein. So here it is an abnormal prion protein. So it can change the structure, and thereby it will cause degeneration of the nervous tissue. So degeneration is nothing but it is going to destroy. Okay, so it is going to damage the nervous tissue. So in today's class, we have seen about different kinds of microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, fungi, and also about prions. Thank you.